I'm Tom from Do It Yourself Home Automation, and this is a look at the Switchhook COVID-19 door tool. And this is a device, it's a 3D printed device that you can get on Thingiverse. It's open source, and it's something you can easily create at home. And the concept is that you can use this to open doors, to use touchpads and that kind of thing during COVID-19 or another viral outbreak without having to physically touch those objects. So if there's contamination out in the environment, this is a really easy tool that you can use to still be out there if you need to be, if you're an essential worker, you're going out to purchase groceries or go to the doctor or something like that, while minimizing your exposure to those kinds of items in the environment. And you can buy commercial versions of these now. This one I really love because, well, for one thing, it was made by a good friend of mine. And also it's open source. You can 3D print it at home versus right now, if you're purchasing one of these tools from one of the commercial companies, it was about a 1-month delay on actually receiving it versus with this, you can print it out right at home. Another cool thing with it is that it is, in this version anyway, hardware free. So actually all of the pieces you need to put it together are in the actual 3D print files. You don't have to buy any kind of hardware, and the whole assembly is something that you can just print out, assemble, and usually in 4 or 5 hours you can have one of these ready to use. So why is it called a switch hook? It sort of has a switchblade-like action. It's actually more of a swinging kind of action, but that's what it kind of looks like to users. So you hold this is all folded in here, and say there's a door that I want to be able to open. Obviously this is an interior door, but you can use this, and I'll show on exterior doors and other kinds of things too. So here's the tool. You press this locking button in, flick of the wrist without having to have any contact with the hook. This comes out, and then you can hook it onto, in this case, the door, and very easily pull that open without having to have contact with that doorknob that could be sort of a physical space in the world that people are touching and contaminating. Then when you're done, it's still non-contact. You just press that, flick it back in, it locks back into place, and you can put this on a carabiner or on a keychain to wear it around. You can either, you can also put it in your pocket. The actual physical part of the hook here is totally contained inside of the unit, so you're minimizing your risk of contamination. When you would get home, you could always flip it open again, and then just use a Clorox wipe if you have those, or any other kind of any disinfectant to sanitize the tip. And it works great for doorknobs. It works great for other kinds of door handles and things like that. You can hook in here and lever open doors that have the sort of flappy handles on them. It also works for things like a light switch. Again, this would be in an outdoor space presumably, but you can use it to flip switches, and you can even use it for keypads. So this can actually operate a phone and that kind of thing. And in a newer version, there's actually a touchscreen compatible option as well that I'll show. All the files to make this are freely available on Thingiverse. I'll put a link into the description down below if you want to download and print your own. I find on my MakerBot Replicator Plus, I'm able to print this in about 4 or 5 hours, and that's because I'm printing it at a very high quality setting. So I'm including 3 shells to give it a lot of strength. If you need to really put your weight behind a door and open it, it's still a very strong tool. And it does have these nice sort of serrations on the side there. Again, the entire thing is no hardware required, so you don't need a screw or anything, although you can use it, and I'll show that too. All of the pieces that you need to secure this very well are all included in that 3D printing file. So really awesome device, freely available to you. Go ahead, check it out, and I'm going to show a lot of different ways of how this can be used out in the real world. I'll also show the exact process I use to print it and the process that I use to assemble it. If you have any questions about it, or if you have printed one and want to share your experiences, please do so in the comments. And if you found this helpful in any way, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps.